Good morning, and welcome to the Motormouth Morning Drive. I'm Niall Motormouth Jenkins. This is where we talk about cars, trucks, maintenance, ownership, and everything that keeps you moving down the road. Whether you're driving a brand new vehicle or something with a whole lot of miles under its belt, there's always something to learn. So grab your coffee, buckle up, and let's get this engine started. The Motormouth Morning Drive starts right now. Good morning, friends, and welcome to Hump Day. It is the middle of the week. We're going to get over the hump and head towards the weekend. Is coming very, very quickly. So if you're in the queue for the drive-through, we'll give you a moment to gather up your goodies for the road. If you have a co-pilot this morning, don't forget to pass on the 16-pack of Crayola crayons, the nicely pressed leaf bag. It is curb day today. I was up super early, and everything is arranged and tied up in a pretty little bow by the curb for the garbage dudes today. So that's hump day around here on the South Shores of Lake Erie. It's garbage day. To the coib. That's all taken care of. So we've got the daily weather coming up. We continue our series, Cooling System Revival, with the driving force. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'll do a quick recap on where we've started and where we've gotten to at this point with regards to your vehicle's cooling system. So whether you know a little bit about cars or absolutely nothing, this is the right seat for you each and every morning, Monday through Saturday, for Motormouth's Morning Drive. At 45 years experience as a service tech, still hands-on. It's the passion that I share with a number of my automotive tech friends and car enthusiasts. But most of all, I'm here to teach you the basic fundamentals of vehicle ownership. So whether you don't know the difference between a wheel nut and a hubcap, you are in the right place, because you will learn through our podcasts and through our YouTube channel 5 things: what it is, where it is, how it works, how you broke it, and how we prevent you from breaking it again and again and again and costing yourself money. So whether you're 8 years old or 89 years old, owning and operating an automobile, if you're a widow, a single mom, divorced 99.5% over again, that would be sad. Yeah, if you're divorced 99.5 times, whether you're single for whatever reason, and you're the one that now has to look after the automobile and learn stuff, you'll learn enough basics to protect yourself from being ripped off when you take your vehicle in for service. So for 31 years on radio, that's the number one email that I would receive on a regular basis. Could you check over my invoice, Motormouth? I think I got taken. And most of the time, it would be about 50%, 50-50. It's a lack of communication on the shop side of things, not explaining things thoroughly in detail, and confirmation with the customer and bringing them into the loop, because you think they don't know anything, so they just assume we'll just go ahead and do it. So you always have to cover the 4 things when it comes to an invoice, and we're going to do a revival on that as well, so you fully understand, ladies. You're the ones that get taken advantage of quite often. And there are some fellas, but most of the time it's the ladies. Concern, cause, correction, confirmation. We're going to unpack those in detail so that you understand it all starts with the invoice and dropping the keys in the car off. And that part has to be done right in order to protect your wallet, your bank account, your hard-earned cash. So if you're wanting to know how to keep your vehicle long-term and keep that engine and transmission running forever, it can be done. I do it all the time. And I did it for my customers on the Hamilton Mountain. I kept their cars going no matter how old, no matter how many kilometers. It's all about maintenance. No, it's not all about the base. It's really all about maintenance. So if you're not good at vehicle maintenance, this program and our YouTube channel will definitely help you with that and help you to understand the feature benefits. Right now, we've started a new series on our YouTube channel with a 1992 Volkswagen Golf Cabriolet Carmen series. It's been parked since 2008. Was the last time it was on the road in the United States of America. And I bought it as a gift for somebody, but they're not with us anymore. Many years ago, like 2009. Gone. But you have to watch the first video very tastefully and respectfully talk about the backstory of that vehicle. So now it's time to put that vehicle back out on the road where it belongs. It's not all rotted out. It's very, very good shape. Excellent shape, I have to say. Man, I wish I could work on California cars all the time, but this is Canada. We get corrosion. Canada equals corrosion. And I'm showing you how we go about bringing this vehicle back to life, catching up on the maintenance, and making it a very reliable vehicle. And it can be done all the time. And we've talked about the foundation of a vehicle. You've got to have a solid foundation. So that means all the undercarriage needs to be in really good shape in order to justify spending money on it. If the foundation is no good, it's no different than a house. Are you going to buy a house with a rotten foundation? Yeah, and you have to listen to that podcast when I went looking at homes and we get to the basement and water's seeping through the blocks, and there's snakes and frogs in the basement, and the washer and the dryer is standing on cinder blocks, and you got to practically wear hip waders to go down there. It was creepy. I give it a 9.975 on the creepy meter. And I looked at my agent and I go, I'll meet you outside. Thanks, bye. Yeah. How about them apples? Are you going to buy that house? It has a bad foundation. Are you going to buy a vehicle that has the floorboards rotted out? Probably not, unless it's a vintage automobile and there's only a limited amount. You're going to put the effort in. If you're a car enthusiast, you're going to go, you know what, we're going to save this and bring it back. Okay, folks, I bought you enough time now for the drive-through to have our morning swiggy, and then we'll just let our newbies that are with us this morning, we'll love on them and bring them into the fold and just let them know how they find everything so they can stay connected with the Motormouth community. So on 321, we thank Earl and Louise Grant at City Auto Sales and Leasing for doing what they do, and that is providing us with low mileage quality vehicles at fair prices. You'll be treated with nothing less but honesty and integrity, and be able to buy a vehicle there with confidence, knowing that Earl, the car guy, who is an enthusiast extraordinaire, they do not bring in any junk whatsoever. They leave it where it belongs, with the other junk. Yeah. So Earl Louise Grant going to take super good care of you. The in-house leasing and financing available. Say thank you to them when you give them a ring. If they don't have the vehicle you're looking for, just let them know, because Earl and Louise have developed the resources to find that specific vehicle for you. And if it's any good and it's out there, Earl will find it and do all the legwork for you. So on 3, 2, 1, let's have our morning swiggy. You ready? 3, 2, and 1. What is that exactly? Oh, that's a piece of ginger. I'll eat that later. Yeah. Just not right now. That, ginger burns when it goes down, but I'll tell you this. It is really good for the gut. Absolutely good for the gut. All right, let's jump into our daily weather. Let's see what's going on. I mean, the weather's in the on the south shores of Lake Erie and the Niagara region. Weather's been a little wacky, I got to tell you. But we do live in the banana belt. That is the seriousness of our location. We're sandwiched between two Great Lakes, Lake Ontario to the north and Lake Erie to the south. So let's see what we got. Today, that would be it. Cloudy conditions expected around 11 a.m. Wind gusts up to 19. Looks like our overnight low is going to be 62. That's good. Turn down the air conditioner and let it thaw out. 63 63 degrees right now and mostly clear. Wind is making it feel cooler, about 59. Cloudy conditions expected around 11 a.m., which we just said. Today's temperature range will be 62 to 78. Going to feel more like 59 to 78. On the rainometer, we have zero. Zero rains in the last 24 hours as well in the Niagara region. So beautiful weather. This is my kind of weather. Yeah, I like the 70s. I didn't like the 70s, for bell-bottom pants. What did they call those shoes? Elevator shoes, crimpling. Yeah, and blue jeans that you could never even fade, even with 2 gallons of bleach. Yeah, Sears buckskins. How many of you remember the Sears buckskin series of blue jeans? Yeah, my brother and I should have been poster childs for Sears at that time because we put those things through hell and back, and you couldn't even tear them. Yeah, they never even faded. Yeah, we dragged our butts on rocks and everything. And we're like, this is not working. Like, we can't fade out our blue jeans. We'll never fit in. Yeah, we'll never fit in. Thank you to Kathy, Dave, and Dan Grimo at Niagara Block, 5000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls. Been building Canada since 1931. They make cinder blocks, all designs, flavors, and colors, on site every single day. They come out of the steamy hot oven on skids. It's amazing to watch. From powder in ingredients like a recipe go into this hopper, and then it's blended, and then it goes through another machine, and then all of a sudden, ka-chunga, you got a cinder block. They go into the oven, the moisture oven, overnight and get baked, and voila. They're ready for greatness. So if you're looking to extend a home, there's one right around the corner from us here. They're putting on an addition, and a lot of people are thinking of doing that and stay in your home as long as you can. Make it work. That's it. Making it work. I heard that somewhere before. Making it work since 1931. So you get all your foundational building blocks there, interlocking bricks, walkway, patio stones. If you're wanting to do a river rock walkway or angel stone, they have all that stuff. If you want to do like an English walkway, they've got that as well. All the slate or whatever you call that, it's beautiful. We have a English walkway, and I think it's fabulous. Some others don't. I think it's fabulous. It looks amazing. So they do and have all the things required for hardscape landscaping projects, including Kathy has a list of contractors if you need someone that you can count on to design, estimate, start date, finish date, and get it done for you so you can enjoy it kind of guy. She has that list. So you want to check in with Kathy Grimo and get things rolling. And they'll deliver all those products right to your home to get the project going. How cool is that? That is so cool. Now listen up. I say this almost every day, pretty much every day. Our certified financial planning professionals are there to help you and to navigate you through some very challenging economic times. So if you and your wife are having intense moments of fellowship with regards to financing and wondering how you're going to make it through, how are you going to make ends meet, just take a moment, call them, and set yourself up with that hour and a coffee discovery meeting to get your questions answered by those who have the fruit on the tree. They can also teach you how to prepare to buy the next vehicle, budgeting for it, budgeting for vehicle maintenance, and that is why we created a series many years ago, back in 2007, called The Planners. I'd have Tony or Larry come in on a rotation once a month, 15-minute segment, to talk about finances and how that all rolls into owning an automobile and not having to trade your time for money just to make car payments. Just to be able to drive a vehicle that's a couple years old. By the time you're done making the payments, there's nothing left. It needs so much work because it's not maintenance free. And we keep talking about that because it's true. Nothing is maintenance free. Nothing. And those people who have sold us that, shame on them. because that's just a marketing ploy. Everything around us is made by man and machine, and it's not infallible. Things happen to it. Stuff breaks, stuff wears out. And if you stay up with them and current with the maintenance, you can keep things as long as you want. As my friend Steve says, my parents taught us, buy quality and then take care of it. That is such a simple solution, folks. So tie in with Tony Miele and Larry Tetro. Let them know I sent you. They're with IG Wealth Management. They manage trillions of dollars in portfolios. I'm pretty sure they can help you with your circumstances. I'm 100% sure they're going to be able to help you. If you have an investment portfolio with the bank, you're not making any money. Yeah, somebody is, but it's not you. If you have debt, you're carrying a lot of debt, you're not on your own. There's millions of Canadians suffering the same thing right now. Estate planning, you have nothing planned, so should you go to your great reward, you're leaving a lot of people in a big mess to clean up and battling the CRA, and that ain't fair. That isn't fair at all, friends. That is not being responsible. They have great rates on mortgages, and they treat you like people, real people. Life insurance, critical illness insurance, vehicle insurance, it may all seem like an expense until the moment you need it. It's a wise investment. So thank our sponsors for making this podcast and our YouTube channel possible. You can find their logos on our homepage at our website, which is the biggest drawer in our toolbox. So for more episodes, project details, and links are all available at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. The shortest is CCBUS as in Sam, net.com. You'll find everything on our homepage if you'd like to follow the build and repair work that we do. I keep it absolutely super simple, showing you and talking at the same time and breaking down what I'm working on, what it is, the 5 things, what it is, where it is, how it works, how it broke, and how we can prevent that from happening and save you time, money, and maybe even a few bloody knuckles. So check in with our program partners, and thank you to those who are giving them your business. We appreciate that. And those who are subscribed to our YouTube channel, take advantage of our Car Connection maintenance schedule package. There's a special pricing for all those savings for those who are subscribed to our YouTube channel. All our links are in the top right-hand corner on our homepage at ccbusnet.com. And all this information, if you can't get it crayoned out on your leaf bag, is all in the description of our YouTube videos and our podcast descriptions as well. I take care of those myself, and I include more automotive tech tips in the description. So it pays to do a few moments of reading and pick up some more automotive tips. The more you can learn, the better you can save. And the more you learn, the more dangerous you are, ladies. When you get to the service department, you'll know stuff. So you'll know when there's, the cows are flying, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Aren't you glad cows don't fly? Exactly. I absolutely do. So let me see if I can read this out from my memory. Top right-hand corner of our homepage, our YouTube link. There's over 500 videos for you there to entertain yourself with, all basic automotive fundamentals. So you're learning the easy stuff that will save you a lot of heartaches, a lot of headaches, and wasted buckolas. We have Instagram, Facebook, Stevensvilleontheweb.ca, where you'll find reels, bloopers, and outtakes that you will not see anywhere else. And we welcome you to be part of the Motormouth community through our online social media platforms. iHeartRadio is our home base for our podcast, but all our podcasts load into our YouTube channel automatically. So when this one goes live at 8 a.m., and they all go live at 8 a.m. Monday through Saturday, Saturday being our Q&A, 1-hour question and answer period, they all are available to you on our YouTube channel instantly the same day. So if you're just joining us, you only have 252 podcasts to catch up on. Take your time, but hurry up. We also have our merch store, All the proceeds from anything, every item you purchase in our merch store put together by Freedom Expressions goes directly to support Total Freedom Addiction Campuses Canada and USA. And the Canadian campus is expanding to have the women there now, and the locals have come together and built a home there for the women to be housed in, and they're building another one at no cost. That's the Amish for you. They jump right in. And so that's coming available, which is amazing. Rick and Robin are the facilitators there. I've met them, and their story, their testimony of breaking free from addiction will make you cry for days. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So that's where all the proceeds go when you buy our merch. So stand together with us and help change lives one at a time at Total Freedom Addiction Campuses Canada and USA. What else do we have there? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, merch. Yeah, we're good. Let's jump in to our program this morning as we continue the series Cooling System Revival. Fall vehicle maintenance brought to you one nugget at a time. So we're breaking it down in levels of importance. So with this new series that we started on our YouTube channel, bringing this car back up to snuff as far as maintenance goes, how do we do it? Where do we start? Well, it all starts with the cooling system. We need to make sure that that engine in there is not being starved of fluid flow, that it's not running hotter than it should. And with today's temperature gauges in the dash, there's something to be desired, because I don't know about you, but every vehicle I have, it doesn't show you temperature. It just shows you a needle and a space. Well, what's the temperature in that space? I don't know. I have to jump out with my thermal heat gun, find the thermostat housing, point it there, and get a reading. How many of us do that? Oh, I just happen to have my thermal heat gun with me. What are you, MacGyver? Jump out of the car. I'll tell you what temperature we're running at. That's not going to happen. So the cooling system is the glue that keeps everything together. If the engine's running hot, your automatic transmission's running hot. So you're cooking both of them all at the same time. And and it's the frog and the boiling water theory. That if the water's just warm and you put the frog in there, he's going to be happy. He doesn't know he's on the stove, and the water's going to get hotter, and he boils to death. Sad tear. Your car's the same way. If you don't know where that needle is exactly in that window on the temperature gauge, and where that needle's pointing, what that temperature is, not every vehicle out there flags you if there's a problem in the cooling system. I'm just telling you, it's not true. The only one I've seen in the last 10 years is last year we worked on a 2017 Jeep Wrangler JK, and it actually had a coolant temperature fault code. So when I went in there to take a reading, the car was running too cold, which means it's eating up gas like you wouldn't believe, and it's summertime. We're well over 50 degrees Fahrenheit. If the vehicle's running too cool, the computer thinks we're in the fall season, and so it feeds the injectors more fuel. You eat up fuel like you wouldn't believe. The opposite side of that spectrum is if the coolant is running slightly hotter, you won't even notice it. With that temperature gauge, you won't even notice it. And as I mentioned, most vehicles won't flag you, won't throw a service light to say, hey, your coolant's too hot or your coolant temperature's not right. The only way we can monitor that for you is put the engine analyzer on there, not a little cutesy code reader, a full-bore computer to take a look at the output signal from the coolant temperature sensor. That's the sensor that's telling the computer where the temperature of the antifreeze is actually at. Okay? Then there's a coolant temperature sender. what that does is sends a signal to that stupid temperature gauge in the dash that has a C, a center line, and then a hot zone, whatever that temperature is. I don't know. What does the halfway point mean? I don't know. I've never checked it, really, to say. I do know on the 07 FJ Cruiser where the needle generally sits. And if I see it fluctuate up or down, then I know I need to get my thermal heat gun out, run it, get it up to normal operating temperature, and actually take some readings and see what's going on. But we just did a cooling system upgrade back in the spring, so you have to watch that spring vehicle maintenance. So we've covered so far in the cooling system revival antifreeze. What are we looking for? How do we test it? And there's videos in our YouTube channel for you to see how I do that. So you can physically see me checking new antifreeze, old antifreeze, used antifreeze, and showing you what we're testing for and how it tests out. So we're not looking just at the freeze point and boiling point. We're looking at pH balance, alkalinity, acid, corrosion level. And I'll tell you right now, the big failure point with this long life antifreeze, it doesn't pass. Most of the time, it does not pass the acid corrosion level. In fact, I just show you that on this 92 Volkswagen Cabrio. I tested the antifreeze for you on video. That will be live next week. So we put 3 new videos up every week, 2 for Tuesday. So 2 went up last night, another new one heading into the weekend on Friday. So 2 for Tuesday and a new one on Friday. So we talked about the radiator, the importance of the radiator. It's not just there for giggles. It has a job to do. And all the components in the cooling system have to work together in unison like an orchestra. So we covered that. I even cut a radiator in half for you and shot a video to show you what does a flow test look like and what are the results we're looking for. So you'll have to watch that video. That one goes live next week. So we just posted it this week, along with shooting more new videos in that series. So that series on the 92 Cabriolet is going to show you how to get a vehicle back out on the road after it's been sitting for a while and taking care of just basic maintenance, things that are wear and tear items. And your vehicle's cooling system is just that. It works super hard to keep that engine and transmission from blowing up. So we covered antifreeze, the radiator, and as I mentioned, I cut one in half for you so you could see it, and I could show you how we do what we're looking for when we do a flow test on a radiator to see if it's any good. And an engineer once told me many years ago, 100,000 K, pull it out, put a new one in. And he was in charge of a fleet of almost 300 Chrysler minivans that were running in a fleet service. And the engineer told the maintenance guy, every 100,000 you get that radiator out of there and put a new one in, those things will run forever. And he's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So we've talked to antifreeze, radiator, thermostat. We covered yesterday what its job is and where it's located, and 99% of the time it's in an awkward spot to get at, and it doesn't last a lifetime. When it stops working, it's going to let you know, because your vehicle's going to boil over, go into a superheat circumstance, and that's when catastrophic engine damage happens. And you can see that in real life on our YouTube channel, the 97 Jeep TJ Wrangler Rescue series. Yeah, that's what put that vehicle into the junkyard, and we rescued it, and it's back out on the road. So today we're going to cover what I call the driving force in the cooling system, and that would be the water pump. Its job is to have continuous flow of coolant. There's a couple of problems here. Can you see it already? What if the radiator doesn't have really good flow because it's plugging up inside where we can't see it? That's why I cut the radiator in half to show you. how the flow of coolant is so important that it's working properly. And if it's not, then the vehicle's engine and transmission's running hotter than it should, and you're going to burn them out prematurely. That's when catastrophic failure happens. What if the thermostat's not working properly either? And that, even though the water pump is the driving force to push the coolant through the system, get it to the radiator so the airflow can cool it off, get it back through the lower radiator hose back into the engine. That's the water pump's job to make that happen, to push the coolant through the system under pressure. Consistency, continuity. There has to be continuity there. So the water pump can be doing its job, but it can't complete its job if the components ahead of it aren't working right. So are you following me? So even though the water pump is not broken and it's working, if the radiator's not working right and the thermostat's not working right, the water pump cannot do its job. It just won't happen. And it maintains the system. Without the pressure pump, being the water pump, fluid is not flowing. And as I mentioned already, if the radiator is partly restricted, it's not getting, even though the pressure's there and the fluid's there, it's not getting the coolant moving fast enough through the system to get it cooled off through the radiator to get back to the engine, so the engine's not starting to run hot. So it has a big job as well. The other thing is this. Water pumps are generally hidden on the engine somewhere. They're very difficult to get at now, and now we've got engineers that have even put water pumps inside the engine so that when they fail, they drop antifreeze right into the motor oil. Does that make any sense to you at all? Does it? It doesn't to me either. And back in the early 90s, we had these Grand Ams coming out of GM with what we called the Quad 4. It was a Quad 4 engine. And the water pump was inside the engine on those things. And guess what would happen? Driving down the road, water pump fails. You don't even know what's happening. Fills the oil pan up with antifreeze. So there's enough motor oil in there so that it's full enough already. Now the whole cooling system dumps into the bottom of the engine and mixes with the motor oil. Locks the engine up solid while you're driving highway speed. And the engine goes kaplooey. Brilliant. So you would have thought that the engineers would have figured out back then in the early 90s that those Quad 4s, we called them exploders because that's what would happen. You don't know the water pump's falling apart while you're driving because you can't see it, you can't hear it, it's tucked inside the motor. Water pumps are meant to be external, not internal. And some of the Ford F-150 owners can probably relate right now because it's about $6,000, I'm being told, to change a water pump on a Ford F-150 pickup truck that has the engine in it that has the water pump inside the motor. Brilliant. So it didn't work back in the early to mid-90s, but let's try it again, right? It's your money, folks. It's your money. It won't fail under warranty. It's going to fail outside of warranty. And then it's your dime. So they're off the hook. And there's no recourse. So here's what I tell folks. If I'm into the front of the engine for whatever reason, maybe doing a thermostat, I've got the cooling system emptied, the vehicle's got a couple of 100,000 kilometers on it or 150,000 kilometers, why not change up the water pump while I'm in there? And that way, you know what, you're starting at ground zero. Because here's what tends to happen. If your vehicle is using that lifetime antifreeze and then it goes poisonous, it goes acidic, and you got to watch this new video coming out because you'll see what acidic antifreeze looks like and tests out like. You'll get a good visual. When the antifreeze goes acidic, it eats the impeller fins right off the water pump where you can't see what's going on. I've pulled a lot of water pumps out and there's no fins on the impeller to drive the coolant. And that's why the vehicle came in. It's running hot. It's starting to overheat. Comes in. First place I go to is thermostat. Second place is water pump. And I run it for a few minutes, and I look to see if I've got really good coolant flow. And if it's very, very weak, I know I've got two challenges right away. Thermostat's a problem. It's now been overheated. It's got to come out anyway. Number two, the water pump. And I can't tell you the number of times I pull the water pump out, and there's no impeller. And you're like, where is it? There's just the nub left. The nub is there. And then test the antifreeze and go, holy smokes, this is like battery acid. Whether it's a plastic impeller or metal, when that coolant goes acidic, it eats it right out of there. So the water pump falls apart. It gets eaten alive is what happens. So water pumps, they're the driving force behind the cooling system, that if everything else is working the way it should, then the water pump can get the job done and get the engine cooled down while you're driving. No matter what the outside ambient air temperature is, the thermostat, the water pump, the radiator, and the coolant mixed properly is all working together to make sure that your engine is running at 195 degrees Fahrenheit no matter what. Headwind, winter time, and the wind blowing against your car, all that stuff. It doesn't matter what Mother Nature throws at the car. If the cooling system's working properly, it will maintain it at 195 degrees Fahrenheit. That's where we need to be. So that's the importance so far. Do you see how all the pieces are working together like an orchestra? They all have to work together. Almost kind of like the human body, right? The eyes, the ears, the heart, the organs, the nose, they all work together. So does the cooling system. Excuse me. Under the hood. So tomorrow, we're going to take a look at heater core. You might be saying, heater core? What the heck is that, Motormouth? Well, stay with us tomorrow. You'll be quite surprised at what it is, where it is, how it works, and how it fails. And it is an item that fails. Another item in the cooling system that doesn't last a lifetime. In many cases, does not. It has to be replaced. So stay with us. Make it a great Wednesday, friends. And thanks for stopping by for Motormouth's Morning Drive. We'll see you in the next one. Be sure to like, subscribe, share us with your car enthusiast friends. They can also catch our podcast on all platforms, Amazon, Spotify, Apple, Podbean, wherever they're located and wherever they're pulling their podcasts from. Just have them type in the search bar, Car Connection Workshop, and they'll find us. Or even Motormouth's Morning Drive. You will find us. We're available on all platforms everywhere. So happy, healthy motoring. Peace, patience, and kindness always, friends. Watch out for the other guy. You know they drive like idiots. And we'll see you tomorrow morning as we get closer to the weekend. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.